Okay. So, oh, I do have a bell ringer, I think. No, I don't. No, I don't. Okay, so yesterday we discussed and went over what did we go over? Joey, remember? Oh, putting you on the spot here. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, so we talked about the estate admission process. Okay, let's review that real quick before we move on. So, what needs to happen first in order to, let's say, a territory to become a state? What needs to happen first? Alex? Yeah, referendum. What does that mean? You forget? All right, so the people in that territory, they come up with a referendum, a vote, right, to say that whether or not they want to be involved within that country, let's say the United States and Puerto Rico. So referendum, good. So they vote on. And what happens next? What's the next thing that happens? What's the next thing that happens? Alex, you got it? Yeah, petition, right? So they petition to, let's say, the United States. Okay, it's presented to Congress whether or not or why they should be a state. Okay, good job. This might be because of population. This might be because of land. This might be because of maybe availability to become a military base, resource, whatever it might be. Economic gains. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of reasons for it. Okay, then what happens next? So we have a petition then, and then go ahead, Devin. Yeah, good job. So they create a constitution. Okay, they have to create a constitution that aligns with the United States Constitution, right? Okay, good. And then after that, what happens? What happens then? Devin? Yeah, okay, so they have to go through the approval process with Congress. Okay, and there's a lot of factors that play into that, right? This might be because of, I don't know, because of what's going on in the world today with the United States, why they might be involved. Let's say the United States is in conflict in the Middle East, that might be pushed off to the side. Maybe they're in war, like in Vietnam, right? That might be an issue where it would just be pushed aside for the time being. Okay, so depending on what conflicts are going on, Congress might be hesitant towards it. They might just simply approve of it right away. But in Puerto Rico's case, since it's been on the dock for a long period of time, they just kind of pushed it to the side because there's a lot of events going on that the United States needed to be more involved with and taking time and resources towards those issues first. And there might be political reasoning behind it, right? Political parties. Okay, unfortunately, it comes to that point, but with power, how maybe a political party might just want to view this territory that might be become a state as more representation and siding towards their beliefs and their political ideals. Okay? So there is a lot of circumstances that might arise when this territory might become a state. All right, good. So what happens next? So Congress approves of it. The final say comes to who? George, you have your hand up or not? Yeah, the president. Good job. So he signs off on it, right? So if he signs off on it, good to go. The state. Okay, nice. Is there any questions on that? So make sure you know those processes there. And obviously, there's been certain circumstances where maybe they skipped through that process in America's history, right? We talked about that already, especially like with the Northwest Ordinance, okay, with these territories being accepted, after, right after the Revolutionary War with Ohio moving up into these Great Lakes states, being accepting just pretty much right away, okay? As we're expanding out into the western portion of the United States, and then we all know with West Virginia, okay, with the Civil War occurring right around 1963, West Virginia broke apart of what Virginia was, creating another free state, okay. And there's certain instances where they can just kind of skip through that process to really accept these states right away. And with Hawaii and Alaska, political reasoning behind that, gaining more representation, right? Okay. Is there any questions on that? You guys good with the state or the state admission process? All right, so let's turn to the territorial rights reading that you had. I'll grade that then. I'll give you guys a grade for that right after we're done talking about it and when you're working on your grant projects. So I know I posted questions along with it. There are questions below the reading. They were the same ones, so hopefully you didn't do them twice. I just wanted to make sure that you got the questions attached there. So real quick, I thought this was interesting. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? With Puerto Rico especially, I mean, uh, what were some arguments for Puerto Rico becoming a state? What were some arguments in the reading that you found? What do you think? Well, first off, let's start off with citizenship. So, do these people in these territories have the same rights as citizens in the United States, as like in a state? Do they have the equal same rights? Lydia, you're shaking your head no. What rights are they not given?
Like voting for president.
Yeah, good job. So they don't vote for president. Who else don't they really select or have representation in? What branch? Yeah, legislative. Good job. So senators, representatives. Okay, so these senators, these representatives, they don't have the chance to vote for them, obviously, because they don't have representation there in Congress and with the executive, especially with the president. So it kind of feels like they don't have any type of representation of where the country might go, what direction that they might lead, depending on what type of I don't know executive orders that they might have, and then passing of laws, establishing of laws, amendment process, you name it. There's a lot of things that they're kind of left out on. And in a way, they're kind of handcuffed to it, right? They're a territory, but they don't have a chance to really seek their viewpoint and moving forward with the nation, okay, which is, I guess, kind of sad in a way, but in many cases, these territories don't want to have that burden put on them either, which we read about, what you guys read about. And that's also a reflection too of the judicial branch, right? So who selects these Supreme Court justices? I know we went over this before. Who selects these court justices for the Supreme Court? Z? Yeah, the president. Good job, right? The president. And then who votes on whether or not this is appropriate or not? Go ahead, Z. Yeah, legislative branch. They have no say in that, right? So all three branches, they have no say of what direction they might move in. And I mean, let's see. That's kind of sad in a way. All right, good. Good job. So, number one, list three arguments in favor of giving people living in incorporated territories statehood and the rights and privileges of American citizens, and three arguments against those granting territory statehood. So, let's start for statehood. What three arguments did you have? I know it was you couldn't really fill in the answer right here. So if you wanted to do it on a separate doc, that's fine. Okay, obviously. But what do we have for one? What are some three advantages? Or three arguments, sorry, in favor of people in this territory. What's one of them that you had? What's one of them that you had? Sarah, what was one an argument in favor?
I said they're citizens. Four.
Yeah, four. Yep. No, you're good. Sorry about that. I put you on the spot. Yeah.
I said, well, I mentioned that one is that their possessions in the U.S., like some of them are directly governed by the United States. Like, isn't Puerto Rico governed by the United States?
Yeah. Yep, they have a governor.
I said that if they're governed by the United States, that would be
yeah. Yeah, good job. Good job. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess you could say Puerto Rico's technically a commonwealth, right? So they have a governor, they have a representative body there for the United States that some other territories might not have. Okay, good. Good job. So that's a good argument. That's awesome. What else do we have? Lydia, what's another one that you had? Oh, you're laughing, or don't you have another argument?
I don't know. I just said a lot about the whole citizenship thing.
The citizenship thing?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, they are citizens, but they don't have the equal rights as what a state-born citizen would have, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. So maybe we should have some sort of consideration for those people in the territories. Alex, what do you have? What's an argument you have for?
I said that because a lot of these territories are military bases, a lot of these people are military, so I thought that was kind of important.
Awesome, awesome. Good job, good job. So these territories are established and set up because of military bases, right? And with the Spanish American War, these territories that were created, they really from the beginning didn't have an opportunity for statehood, except for Puerto Rico. Okay, but for the most part, yeah, they're military bases. A lot of the jobs, a lot of the occupations on these islands, on these territories, are because of military reasoning. So if they're fighting for a country, come on, right? They should have these equal rights and maybe become a state into the United States for a country. Good, awesome. I like that one. Z, what do you have? What's another argument? Or don't you have one? You don't have one. You didn't do number one? Oh man. Oh man. What about Puerto Rico, for instance? In the reading, it described Puerto Rico, the island itself. Why would that be considered maybe more likely to become a state than, let's say, Guam or the U.S. Virgin Islands, things like that? Why would Puerto Rico be more considerable as a state moving forward? I thought it was interesting. Anyway, Devin, did you have your hand up? Yeah, the population. Good job. The population. So the population in Puerto Rico is heck more than half the states in the U.S. So when you're looking at the population and what it has to offer, and maybe people with occupation jobs, and population alone, that's obviously set forth for some sort of representation. When we talked about that Virginia plan, right? And population representation. I mean, yeah, it's bigger, larger. Their population, half the states in the United States. So I think that's considered, maybe should have some sort of statehood and some lenience and some push for statehood. What's another one? What's another one? What about the land itself, right? The land itself, the island is bigger than what they say, Rhode Island and Delaware. Okay, so yeah, it's bigger than those states. So maybe we should consider it as a state. Um, the resources too that we took from this island for many, many years. Come on, we profited heavily off of this resource, sugar especially, right? We talk about American history. So, I mean, the resources we took, the money that we made, the military bases established on these territories, maybe that should be in consideration of why this should be a state. All right, again, a lot of arguments. Alex, I liked yours a lot. That was a good one. Okay, with the military bases. And if they're fighting for a country, they should have the ability to have these equal rights as every citizen in the U.S. and the states. All right, arguments against it. What do we think? Arguments against it. What's one of them that you have? What's the one of them you have? Sarah, go ahead. Yeah, yeah, good job. So you mean like with language maybe, or
Yeah, I mean like culture and like
the culture?
Them, like, or representative democracies or whatever, or representative republics and others, just like they all like do it different, and they speak different languages. Like they don't have to cooperate now to be difficult to get along with the United States. There's like all different, just different generally.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, for heck, over 100 years, right? Puerto Rico has been a territory, and they had culturally they're so different, right? And they speak a different language for the most part, right? Spanish, and yeah, that would be so hard to change and try to push towards the direction of what the United States is established as. I mean, yeah, that's a really good point. Not only Puerto Rico, but the other territories, maybe even more in contrast and differences with culture and the way they are ran, the way that their governing body was established is totally different for how many years. So it would be really hard to align it with what the United States has. Okay, good. I like that one. Good. What's another reason you think? What's another reason? Joey, do you have one?
Not all citizens of territory are in favor of statehood.
Yeah, good job. Good job. So some of these people in these territories, they don't want to be a part of the United States. I mean, well, as a state, they are a part of it, but as a state, okay, because there's a lot more issues, right? There's going to be a lot more problems that might emerge at a world level to vote on, especially with representatives in Congress. I mean, when you go to war, you have to have some sort of representation explaining on your part whether or not you want to be involved, where you're not, laws and maybe amendments that may be coming in the future. Your representation has to have a say in what goes on in the United States. So, I don't know, especially in today's world with the way politics are ran in the United States and how things are going with COVID-19. There's a lot of issues that need to be solved, and your representatives, let's just face it, you don't want to be bothered by it. Just stay distance from it in a way. Okay, good job. I like that. What else? What's another argument? We talked about two of them. Sarah, I like yours, the culture. That's great. The governing style. Awesome. What's another one we have? Lydia, you have another one?
I just said basically like the territories that become a state and like represent, they would be like different just because of like maybe they don't kind of like the culture thing, because they may see like a different point of view than someone else.
Okay, yeah. Good job. So they've been separated from the U.S. with making decisions, political decisions, economic decisions for how long, and it's just going to be a clash, right? There's not going to be a good mesh with the territory that's just becoming a state and what has been established for many, many years in the United States. Good. Sarah, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, I also said like the geographical differentiation. They probably do currently, like combining their like totally different climates, like in terms of basis and what and like not, I'm sure not even just all of them combined have the same, like it's probably all different, which could be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's like something totally different from what the United States is on now.
Yeah. Okay. Good job. So you're saying there could be pros and cons to their economic stability. Is that what you're saying? And input and production. What they have as resources comparable to what the United States has. Yeah. Good job. So yeah, I'm assuming there could be pros and cons to that. Yeah. Good. There's one more I was thinking of. Oh, you're gonna have to sew more stars onto the flag, right? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Yeah, to put 52 stars on or 51 stars up. Oh man. But another argument, I guess you could say, with that idea is just what was I thinking of? I can't remember it. What was I going to say? There's a good point. Low populations, yeah, that's one of the reasons why. I'll have to think back to it. When I think of it, I'll let you guys know. Let's just move on, though, and sake of time. 2, should the residents of territories be allowed elected representatives in Congress who can vote on legislation? Currently, they have no voting representation. What do you guys think on this one here? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Z?
I said they should because even though they're not a state, they're still part of the states.
Okay.
Decisions.
Yeah, okay. Good job. Again, it's your opinion, so what you think, that's good. So, like you said, military service, and you're saying that they don't have a say in what direction the United States should go with amending laws or creating laws. It's like, come on, right? Electing officials, like as an executive branch, yeah, so they should definitely have a say if you're talking about those means. Sebastian, what do you say for 2?
I said no because they're not a state. They don't really want that. Like, that's why they're not a state right now. So they shouldn't have, the say in other ones.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That makes sense.
All right. So yeah, some of these territories are just fine being a territory. They don't want to be a state. So why should they have a say in what direction the United States should go in? Okay, that's a good point. It's a good point. Anything else, Sarah? Do you have something?
And also sort of how like the average representative, like what people.
Yeah.
And, like a lot of those territories don't even have like, so it'd be like unequal.
Yeah.
I kind of was thinking of like when they didn't originally want to add new states, it was just like a 13 colony in the US, like because if you add another state, it lessens the power of each existing state, and if they already have like fairly many people there, you're just giving them more power and how unbalanced it is.
That's true. That's true. As a a representative sample, right? When you're looking at the population and comparing it to, let's say, electoral votes, I think the lowest you can get is 3, right? 3 electoral votes. I think. I'm not sure. I don't think there's 2 or 1, because I think DC even has 3 electoral votes, which, whatever. I mean, with population, like you said, if they only have 1,000 people in it compared to, I don't know, what's one with 3? Hawaii, I think Hawaii has 3, I think. So let's say they have over 20, 30, 40, over 100,000 people, close to a million, compared to their thousands. Like the electoral votes doesn't match up, doesn't make sense. Yeah, good job. That's a good point. That's a really good point. All right, good. So 3, should the territories currently controlled by the United States be given the opportunity to become their own countries? Why or why not? Uh-oh. What do we think here? What do we think here? Sarah, go ahead.
I said, yeah, like if they wanted to, because if they're not really part of the United States politically, like they don't play a role in our senators or representatives, and they're not really like involved, then it doesn't really make much sense. Like if they already have their own forms of government anyway, I think it'd be easier for them to be able to have their own like constitutions too, like modeled after the United States, so that people can still have guaranteed rights.
Okay.
To some of their own government, if it's like the United States government.
Yeah, okay. So what if they wanted to have an autocracy there, though?
What if they wanted to have an autocracy?
Yeah, would you allow them to have their own independence even though they're territory of the United States? They want to become their own country. They're like, "Ah, we want to have a dictator. Just we don't want to give people their design rights that the United States has, right?" So let's say they want to do that. Would the U.S. still be okay with that, you think?
I think
If you're the leader anyway?
if they don't have representation, I don't quite understand it. Like if our government is making decisions regarding them, but they don't have representation.
Okay.
And I think like that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I think if it's up to them, like why should the United States make decisions about them if they're not represented at all? Their opinions aren't being taken into consideration.
Yeah.
And maybe like, yeah, I mean, autocracy is not good, but
Mhm.
if they're not playing a role in this government, I think.
They should have the ability to do what they would want within their own country, right?
And then, I mean, if they would get themselves into a mess, they would be part of the United States. So it's not the U.S.'s fault.
Yes.
If they wanted to do that, they declared their independence. That's on them.
You're on your own now, right? It's like getting rid of the kids. You're on your own. Yeah, good job. Good job. I like that. I like that idea. And well, let's face it. I mean, if they become their own country, they're probably going to be in alliance with the United States, right?
Yeah,
They're-
or they'd be in alliance with others. If you think of it as the population of that low, they obviously probably can be self-sustaining.
Yes,
They, you know,
that's true. Which gives the ability maybe of another country to take them over, right? And we won't really have that much protection or help there. But if they're a low population, they'd probably still want to be in alliance with the United States because for protection purposes and trading, right? And with try to build their economy to a point where they can be self-sustained for a little bit, and still trade with the U.S. and what kind of goods we have. And yeah, all right, good job. Anybody else have anything for 3? Alex, do you have anything for 3?
I'd say they should have the opportunity to become their own country. People that said country one, the territory one country,
Yeah.
and we'll still have like over that. We've had for a while, so I guess that should be different.
Okay. Yeah. So how much could things really change, right? I mean, it could be another result in the Cuban Missile Crisis, though. Let's say, I don't know, for some reason, North Korea decided to come in alliance with Puerto Rico or something like that. They could establish some sort of ICBMs there, and that would be an issue, right? Oh, that'd be terrible. All right. But hey, chances of that happening very slim, I guess. Very slim. Devin, what do you have for 3? Anything?
3, I say yes and no. I totally agree with letting them be an independent, but or would like to have like strong influence of military bases on the independent state.
Yeah. Good. Good job. Good job. All right, let's move on here real quick. 4. Should the residents of Washington, D.C. become a state or have representatives in Congress? Currently, they do not. Why or why not? Why or why not? What do you think? This is always a big question mark. This is still a hot topic today. With Puerto Rico, D.C., should it become states? What should happen? Joey, what do you have for 4?
I don't believe that it should be a state. Too small to be a state. Since it is the home of the government, it should remain.
All right. Okay. Good point. Good point. Right. When the founding fathers established D.C. as, the nation's capital, they thought from the beginning it shouldn't be a state, right? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, any granted statehood. It's just where our government body is established, where it's located. All right. Good. Anything else for that one, Sarah? What do you have for 4?
I said, no, because it's within a state, so it's not like it's interest of the
Yeah.
It's still, even though it's not separate on its own, it's still like its population is being accounted for, so its interests are still being portrayed in the government.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's pretty small in the first place. I mean, it's populous because it is the capital, but
Yeah.
like, I think just because it's the capital, it's considered a state.
Yeah. It would be right. It would be. Okay. And then you'll have. I guess that would be an issue too with. Representatives in Congress, how that would be established. And that goes along your one point that you said earlier with, population and how much representation they should have depending on that population. It might be unequal in a way, right? Depending their seats in the House.
It doesn't make much sense because they're still like all the people who live there are still they're being represented. It's not as a separate entity.
Yeah.
They're still, it's not like they're play a role.
Yep.
And just doing that, I feel like it'd be a lot of extra work. It would make things different. It'd be a lot of.
Yeah, it would be. That would be. Yeah. All right, guys. Good job on that. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So I remembered my argument. So with the statehood, let's say with Puerto Rico, I mean, they're right there along the Atlantic coast with, hurricane damage, national disasters. There's a lot of issues that arise there, and it's always a question mark with what presidents, executive orders should be established to try to help these people out and these certain times. And I mean, with funding, especially like with grants, different types of public services needed provided for that newly established state, if it would be. Okay, who knows? Who knows? It might be very costly to add them as a state in those certain instances. Because let's face it, Florida gets whacked by hurricanes every single year. There's a lot of funding going towards that to rebuild. Louisiana, same thing. Okay, a lot of those coastal states getting destroyed by hurricanes, and Puerto Rico is right in the middle of it seems. And they always get the blunt of those Category 5 hurricanes until they maybe slow down a little bit when they get closer to the coast. So that's another issue. That's another argument, maybe against it, or maybe for it. Right? We need to help protect these people a little bit more. So let's offer them as a state so we can give them more funding to help rebuild after these events, after these disasters. I still think they're rebuilding after that 2017 hurricane. I forget which one that was. The power's out for over a year. It's crazy. Can you imagine having power out for over a year? That's terrible. All right, so moving on here real quick. I was going to have you read, but I want to get you working on the assignment for next week. We'll have it due. So today we're just going to talk about grants. That's it. So grants. I'll discuss the rest of the slides later. Okay, aiding to the nation, aid to the states, how that works. Okay, but federalism, cooperative federalism. I know there's a lot of issues with the nationalistic viewpoints, right? With the nation being the top priority. If the nation believes where spending should go, what funding should go to what states, okay, how much should it go? And we all know that every state's different, especially along the borders. Okay. Immigration being a hot topic with illegal immigration, things like that. Okay, and different states needing funding, especially like I said, for natural disasters. Okay, with hurricanes, that's a good example. With Florida, along those coastal states that get smacked by hurricanes, maybe more funding is needed to help rebuild after those events. And there's a lot of other instances, examples that maybe I'm not thinking of right now, but those are the ones that really come to mind. But anyway, grants, cooperative federalism. So categorical grants are made for specific and closely defined purposes. Make sure you guys remember that. Categorical grants are made specifically for a certain cause. All right, so let's just say, for instance, now with COVID-19, let's say the nation, the federal government wants to establish more funding towards medical reasoning, right? To try to help build more hospitals, maybe helping industries, factories build more ventilators for the issues arising with COVID-19, right, Sebastian? Yeah. So with categorical grants, that money, that funding is directed just towards medical expenses, right? Medical infrastructure. Does that make sense, guys? It's directed directly towards one certain issue or need. Transportation is a good example too. That's why I have airports there. But with COVID-19 right now, it's a good way to resemble it towards that. But airports, okay, let's say transportation. We want to try to establish transportation in more areas. Airports might be with setting up and establishing trains, roadways, highways, interstates, you name it. Okay, try to build the infrastructure for categorical grants just directed towards one specific purpose. Block grants, loosely defined. Okay, so block grants, it might be directed towards one specific thing. Let's say for education. Okay, education. So the state can use that money for anything detailing around education. So it could be improvement of the school building itself. Maybe we need new, central air. Okay, and here it gets a little cold after some time. So the school's like, you know what, with this block grant, we can direct it towards helping the infrastructure of the school. It might be directed towards, let's just give everybody an iPad, right? So that block grant could be gifted to anybody, for iPads for educational purposes. Might be for athletics, right? So they might use that block grant to build a football field, softball field, whatever it might be. But as long as it's for education, a purpose, this block grant is just loosely defined. It doesn't have to be for a specific reason. Okay, if it was a categorical grant for education, it might be incorporating technology into the student's school day, obviously directed towards building up technology. It might be iPads, it might be Apple TVs, projectors, whatever it might be. But a block grant, anything, it's just loosely defined, whatever they would want to spend it on. Project grants specifically apply for grants, National Institute of Health and Breast Cancer Research, you name it. So that's a good example for it. So project grants, let's say they want to try to build more parks for, community awareness, things like that. So they'll build these parks specifically for the community to help these people out to maybe join more connections, more relationship building in communities. Project grants could be, like I said before, with almost like a categorical grant with COVID-19 especially, to try to help find a cure. Okay, these project grants are directed just for finding that cure, that vaccine for, let's say COVID-19. Does that make sense, guys? You see how the cooperation with federalism, okay, state and national level, okay, even trickles down into local levels, how that might be affecting certain local areas and communities, depending on what these grants are directed towards. All right, any questions? But he's like, no, let's get it on. Let's move on here. You've been talking too much. All right, so here's the assignment I'd like you to work on. There it is. So you're going to have the ability to come up with your own grant, right? So this is, your school has been given a block grant of $250,000 to improve education. Again, what's a block grant? Is there strings attached to that one, or is it just loosely defined? You can do whatever you want with it, right? So it's not a categorical grant, so it's directed towards one specific thing. So you can spend it on whatever you want within the school that you think that needs to be improved. So $250,000, okay, that's it, one-time grant. Or it could be several years, whatever you want, okay? In groups of 4 to 5, which you guys can work with a partner. Okay, let's just do groups of 2, right? If you want to work by yourself, you can, that's fine too. But if you want to work with a partner, that's fine. Decide how the money should be spent to improve UDA. Directions. Obviously brainstorm, come up with a final idea of what you want to try to set that $250,000 towards. Again, so you're gonna have to do a little bit of research to find out exactly what things cost. Maybe we need new desks. Maybe we need, I don't know, maybe we need better safety precautions for people coming in and out of the school because of COVID-19. Who knows what it might be, whatever you want to do. Maybe we need more resources for BT, right, Hannah? Yeah, maybe we need to try to help that out more. Austin, maybe it might be welding equipment, right? Better not be on your phone. Better not be. Okay. So draw up a proposal to present to the school board. Includes arguments that support your proposal. Include types of visuals you might be used to make your proposal look appealing. So take pictures around the school. Okay, what you think maybe needs to be accessed, maybe needs to be improved on. Maybe needs something that needs to be replaced, whatever. Okay. And then follow-up questions. Just answer these 2 questions after you're finished. You can put that a part of the presentation on your slides. So you can just put at the end questions. These are the 2 questions you want to answer. Cite your sources too. So if you're going to find something that you want to try to incorporate into school, find out where you're going to purchase it from. How much is it going to cost? Are you going to stay underneath that $250,000? You guys got it? All right, there you go. And here's the rubric. I'm going to do a 24 points though, okay? 24, well, 25, not 100, 25 points. There you go. Well, you guys get working on that a while. Think of some things that you want to try to improve. And that will be due, let's do presentations. Wednesday's a half day, isn't it? So let's do it Tuesday. Does that work for everybody? Tuesday, let's do Tuesday. All right. And those of you at home, please record it. You know how to do that. And you don't have to be in the presentation, just you talking about it. It can just be your slides.